Good afternoon. We're beginning 9 News at 4, half hour late because of the breaking news this afternoon. We are going to continue to cover the breaking news. A historic guilty verdict against former President Donald Trump in his hush money trial.
Now, less than 90 minutes ago, we learned the jury in Manhattan had convicted him on 34 counts of falsifying business records. The first former president, as you've heard, to be convicted of felonies. Faces anything from probation to as much as 4 years in prison, potentially for each count. Our 9 News political reporter Marshall Zellinger here with us now. More on this historic verdict from Manhattan. And there's a lot to digest, even though many people knew a verdict was coming one way or the other.
Right, let's timestamp it though. May 30th, 2024. The day a former president was convicted of nearly 36 felonies. This trial was about a covered-up payout to a porn actress ahead of the 2016 election. Today, a jury convicted Trump of those 34 felony counts for falsifying business records around a $130,000 payment. It was ultimately money paid to the porn actress to stay quiet about an affair with Trump so that voters would not hear about it before the 2016 election in which Trump was elected president. And as you might expect from most people who were found guilty of a crime they say they did not commit, Trump went straight to the cameras in the hallway to proclaim innocence and announce when the real decision will happen.
This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man.
The important nugget from that statement the former president made immediately after the trial is the part about the November 5th election. The former president's campaign website redirects to this page, trying to fundraise off the conviction. Politics in America in 2024. The sentencing is July 11th, which is right before the Republican National Convention, when he is officially the Republican nominee for president. Talk about timing.
There's going to be more noise, too. I mean, you think of how much noise we've had. The noise is only going to get louder, especially with this news today.
Something we've never seen.
No, when this was potentially going to come out in 2016, the campaign viewed it as fatal, and now they see it in a completely different light.
I mean, based on the website from the president's campaign, it is let's raise money off of this. 8 years ago was nobody better hear about this because it's probably going to tank us, and now that people know about it, let's get them riled up because we were that we were wrongfully convicted of something. And I mean, that's what people often say when they're convicted of something they have always said they were innocent of.
And now more than ever, many people equate money with voting weight as well, that the two seem to line up. So they are fundraising with the idea of making that stand up at the ballot box as well.
And we've seen this with his mugshot being used as from Georgia on memorabilia to buy and fundraise off that. So everything now has calculated risks and decisions being made by the same campaign that this whole trial was about. You know, money that got filtered through a campaign that went to the porn actress to try to cover up. Like it's one of those, you know, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like let's get the string over here and over here and over here.
It's a lot of politics for you tonight. We'll be seeing more of you in a little bit. Marshall, thanks for jumping in and joining us for a couple minutes. Appreciate it.
And there are still a lot of unknowns as to what this verdict means for the presidential race or how long the appeal may last as well.
That's why 9 News anchor Kyle Clark is joining us now as he gets ready for tonight's CD4 debate. Kyle, it used to be the issues would divide America: guns, immigration, abortion, things like that. But it seems like now the number one issue that divides people is Donald Trump. How do you think this plays out politically?
Well, there certainly is no real divide within the Colorado Republican Party anymore. The Colorado Republican Party is Donald Trump's party. The allegiance is absolute, it is unquestioned, and non-believers are targeted and purged, even if they've spent decades working for the conservative cause in Colorado. The Colorado GOP sent out a response to Trump's felony conviction today. It is, no surprise, a fundraiser in which they said this is an unprecedented example of election interference and blatant disregard for the rule of law. They called the case rigged, one of Trump's favorite words. And they asked people to click here to support Trump and the Colorado GOP. I clicked, and the donations go to the Colorado GOP, not to Donald Trump in any way. What's really remarkable, Tom and Kim, is how the party has been taken over by Trump over a period of 8 years. Because 2016, it was Colorado Republicans at the Republican National Convention who led the walkout in support of Ted Cruz and in a last-ditch attempt to block Donald Trump. 8 years later, the party is his entirely. They even dropped their neutrality rules so that they can endorse in primaries. They endorse Trump over the other Republicans running against him, and they're endorsing the most Trump-friendly candidates in GOP primaries that'll happen in June.
That's why we do have an open seat coming up in Congressional District 4. Ken Buck did not want to take part in the withering blast he was taking within the party. So tonight, coming up at 6 o'clock, you and Marshall will be hosting and I should say moderating the District 4 Republican debate. This now becomes one of those issues that the candidates will have to be talking about when you address that tonight.
Absolutely right, Tom. And we're getting ready for that debate here at 9 News. And no surprise to the candidates, one of our first questions to them is going to be whether Donald Trump, now being a convicted felon, shakes their support of him. I would be astonished if any of the 6 candidates up here, most prominently Lauren Boebert, who's been endorsed by Donald Trump, has any less faith in him now than they did this morning. But we're going to have that conversation, along with conversations about the best path forward for Colorado Republicans to win. This allegiance to Donald Trump has come at a price. The party is at its lowest level of statewide power since before World War II. Trump remains incredibly unpopular here, but tonight's CD4 debate at 6 p.m. on 9 News is for the safest Republican seat in our congressional delegation. The winner of this primary is almost certainly likely to win the general election in November. And the question is, how closely do they intend to tie themselves to Donald Trump and his policies?
We're going to all tune in, and we know you're going to get working with Marshall right now. Sorry, missing my head right there. We'll talk to you in a minute, Kyle. Thanks. And don't forget, you, the viewer, can also watch this debate at 6 o'clock. Our stream is also on 9 News Plus. Hey, let's take a break of all this politics stuff and talk about the weather outside. It's really pretty out there. We did see some clouds come in, keeping us just below 80, but geez, really good day.
A lot of blue sky out there, Lauren.
That's right, and it really depends on where you are. Over downtown Denver, we're seeing lots of blue sky, but we have had some severe storms to the south this afternoon, and we're not quite out of the woods yet, especially if you're across the eastern plains. But right now in downtown Denver, we have just a little bit of cloud cover there. We saw those highs in the upper 70s. We're at 72 degrees right now at DIA. Winds coming in from the east-southeast at around 18 miles per hour. But as we take a look at our HD Doppler radar, which has been pretty busy this afternoon, again, we've been seeing these stronger showers and storms south of Colorado Springs, where we did have severe thunderstorm warnings. Those were allowed to expire, but we're still going to watch for this really strong storm just north of Boone. We also have a storm that's popped up right across Colorado Springs. And then taking your attention to the northern half of the Front Range and the high country, just some very isolated showers and storms. One just dying down over Greeley, one popping up over Fort Collins. We also see one between Evergreen and Conifer, and then a storm that's popped up over Frisco. Now, across most of the Front Range, we're just going to see some light showers and storms. This is mostly where we have this general thunderstorm risk, even this marginal risk for severe weather. But to the southeast, we do have a slight risk for severe weather. This is where we're going to expect stronger storms to maybe produce some large hail, damaging winds, heavy downpours. As these systems push their way eastward across the northern plains, we're still going to watch for the possibility of some hail and strong winds, just less severe. Now, going through the rest of the evening, again, you can see these storms stay pretty strong across the plains. We'll watch for that later tonight. Everything moves out overnight, so that we'll get another round Friday and again Saturday. Taking our attention to what Friday's severe weather could look like, most of the I-25 corridor will be either in a general thunderstorm or marginal risk for severe weather, but a good portion of the Front Range and eastern plains will be in the slight risk tomorrow. This is again where we're going to watch for those storms to produce some large hail, damaging winds, heavy downpours. Now, this is Friday, and then take a look at Saturday. It's almost a carbon copy of where we're going to see the strongest storms. So we're going to continue to watch for those afternoon and evening storm chances both Friday and Saturday as temperatures slowly start to rise. But then as we go into Sunday through next week, we're going to see lots of temperatures in the upper 80s to even 90s.
All right, Lauren, thanks. We continue to learn more about what happened at Western Sugar in Fort Morgan, where one person was killed.
The Morgan County Sheriff's Office says they were exposed to naturally occurring hydrogen sulfide gas. 9 News reporter Lauren Scafidi is live at the facility, and hopefully she has a little bit more information for us. This is really sad news to hear, Lauren.
It is. When we got here today, we saw a sign on the door that said that they would be closed today and they would be back open tomorrow after a man died here at the Western Sugar Cooperative in Fort Morgan. We just learned that he was on the maintenance team here. They say that firefighters yesterday carried they helped get 2 people outside yesterday after it happened. In all, 4 employees and 2 first responders ended up going to the hospital. Western Sugar says 1 employee died at the hospital. Another employee should get released next week, and the other 4 were released. The Morgan County Sheriff's Office checked out the air. They say the 6 people were exposed to hydrogen sulfide gas, which happens naturally. The Sheriff's Office says there is no risk to the public. The Western Sugar Co-op says in a statement, "We are mourning the loss of one of our maintenance team members and extend our thoughts and prayers to his family, friends, and colleagues." The Morgan County Sheriff's Office and the Coroner's Office still need to finish their investigation, so that cause of death could take a couple weeks to find out. Live in Fort Morgan, Lawrence Cafidi, 9 News.
Thanks, Lauren. Our 9 Cares Colorado Shares Drive is going on right now to fill food banks and pantries in our area, and one of those community food shares is in Louisville. Community Food Share gives people access to fresh food to people who live in Boulder and in Broomfield counties. Volunteers sort fresh produce and other food for people. Community Food shares products more than 40 pantries and food sites, giving groceries to anyone who needs them. Karina Pena came to the U.S. 6 years ago from Venezuela with her husband and daughter. She first came to the Community Food Share last October, so touched by it that she comes back to volunteer. She comes every Thursday because it's more than a meal, it's a community.
He visto también las caras de las personas que vienen y salen contentas, salen con sus carritos llenos, familias enteras vienen aquí. Y dije, yo quiero formar parte de esto, porque no solamente es comida, es practicar mi inglés, es conversar con las personas que aquí trabajan y bueno, yo prefiero llenarme y nutrirme de la emoción de la gente que está ahí.
Share feeds about 1,500 households every week across all of their programs. April broke their record for total pounds distributed within a month. That grand total was 1.3 million pounds. So you can help out. Support 9 Cares Colorado Shares. The drive goes through June 9th. You can scan that QR code on the screen. It goes right to the donation page. You can also donate when you check out at King Soopers. So far, your donations have raised more than $125,000. That's enough to provide nearly 377,000 meals for people in need. All of this information is on 9news.com/9cares.